Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. We're taking on Scunthorpe here in League One. Quick update on the season before I talk to you about grades and why they do and don't matter. First, I'm going to give myself a grade on the season so far for the Swoodilypoopers. We've had a great season in League One, not a great season in the Cups. Bear! That was a definite foul. I agree, sir. It's been a tough, it's been a tough season in the Cups. Oh! 4 minutes in! Yo! Play the song, Meredith.
He's big, he's tough, he's got a brilliant puff. Other John Green, other John Green.
So, I failed to tell you this before. I meant to tell you, but we lost in the FA Cup when I was playing all the games during the transfer season to try to get Ginger Rampage and One Size Fits All and Merrick and the whole crew back together. By the way, if there's any players that you want who we don't have, put them in comments and I'll try to acquire them for you. Are you missing any of your favorite Swoodilypoopers? Do you want new players, different people? Bear in mind that I only have like $1 million to work with, so it can't be anybody who's actually good. Not that these guys aren't good. I don't want them. I don't want them to hear me thinking that. I'm not. Of course, they're brilliant. They're amazing. We lost the FA Cup. We lost to QPR, Queens Park Rangers. One size fits all. One size fits all. Why don't you have a shot? Oh, almost. All right. So we're out of the FA Cup. We're out of the Capital One Cup. We still have the Johnstown Paint Trophy, the the Stone of John's Trophy of Paint. Get up, Fitzhall. You're not hurt. Anyway, we still got that to potentially win. Can you get up, sir? I just want you to not be injured. But other than that, we've had a bad season in the Cups, but a great season in League One. Like, we've won most of our games. We've showed a lot of courage. We've learned how to work together, even though we're largely a new team. So I'm feeling good about that. I'm going to give us a B- overall. I think we're getting there, but are we a team that could win the Barclays Premier League this season? No, we're not. We're going to get there, though. We're going to be great. So, grades. It's funny, I remember how much I cared about grades, and yet now it is something I think about not at all. I remember none of my grades from school, to be honest with you. Not a single one. The difference between an A and a B is not small, it is non-existent. I just don't remember. I remember that I got a B+ in Intro to Creative Writing, but only because my teacher Kluge, a couple years ago, we're friends, and a couple years ago he was like, Green, I really liked your new book. So I went back and I read all your stories because I remembered I gave you a B+, and I wanted to check myself, see if I had that right, and he was like, I had it right. So I know I got a B+ in Creative Writing, but I don't know what I got. And then there are some classes that were really important to me that I know what I got. I know I got an A in this amazing class taught by my religion mentor Don Rogan called Jesus and the Gospels. That was all about the relationship between Schmerg Grella. I know I got an A in that class. I got an A I think, in my American Literature Overview, the amazing course taught by the great, now retired Professor Perry Lentz. It was part of the reason I went to Kenyon in the first place. And I know what I got in high school. I know I got a D in junior English and deserved every bit of it because I didn't do the frickin' work. I know my grades in science classes were bad, not because I wasn't good at science, but because I just wasn't a very dedicated or serious student. But I more remember sort of what I learned and what I didn't learn. So I remember getting a bad grade in Algebra 2, but I also know that today I know Algebra 2, or at least I know enough of it to kind of get myself around to be able to do some, halfway mathematical thinking in the world, which is a very, very useful thing. People are always saying oh, I'm never going to use this in my real life. And I certainly don't use it in my real life in the sense of using it for my job, but I use it in terms of the way I think about stuff and what I'm capable of thinking about and what I'm, what's interesting to think about. I use it all the time. I use like sines and cosines and tangents all the time, as it happens. Maybe that was more geometry. I don't know. Whatever. But I do. Anyway, in the end, that's what matters. But that's also what grades are trying to measure, right? Like grades aren't trying to measure. They don't exist for themselves. They exist because they're trying to measure something. They're trying to measure how well you've processed this information and whether you're going to be able to like use it in your brain on a daily basis for the rest of your life. That's what grades are actually doing. But as a great man once said, we have a bad habit of making the measurable important instead of making the important measurable. I don't know that we always do a very good job with grades of really using them to measure achievement, measure understanding, comprehension, stuff like that. Because I think a lot of times you sort of know what you need to do to get the grade. Like you can work toward the test, for lack of a better way of saying it. And that is not useful at all. Like knowing how to take a test is not a useful trait in life at all, unless you're going to like work at Blockbuster, which no longer exists. But it used to be a store that sold essentially like very small amounts of Netflix in discrete ways. It was a weird store. I don't know why they thought it was sustainable. Anyway, I have a friend who worked at, I remember after we graduated from college, we lived for a summer in Chicago. 3 of my closest friends and I lived in a walk-in closet in a very sketchy neighborhood in what is now known as Wicker Park, but was not really proper Wicker Park back then. Anyway, while I was living there in this sketcheroo walk-in closet, my friend Levin got a job at Blockbuster. And have I told this story in a Swoodilypoopers video before, Meredith? Oh! Take a bow, son! Oh, and he gets hugged by his husband. Look at this love affair. Merrick, great pass and a great finish. Let's sing the song.
He's big, he's tough, he has a brilliant puff. Arthur John Green.
All right. So, anyway, he gets the job, right? He gets this. He goes to apply. Sorry, I'm telling the story badly because I'm so excited about scoring. Fitzhall! Oh, that's not a penalty. That's not. Oh, we do not like it. I disapprove. There's a slight tackle from slightly behind. Red, what? Red. Oh, strong disagree. Probably an unnecessary. All right, well, all we need is green eggs and Fotheringham. Da. Come on. Oh, do I have to? Green eggs and Fotheringham. Oh, you beauty! That was not a good pass. It's not a good idea to go the rest of the game without a central defender. So I'm going to go ahead and make a substitution because I'm a smart coach. Anyway, so Levin goes in to apply for a job at Blockbuster, and he has to take this employment test. And he takes the test. It's on a computer. And he takes the test, and then he leaves because, he's taking the test, and he figures they'll come for him later. One of these players was red carded and cannot be substituted. Right, okay. So I'm going to move Fitzhall to, say, to where we call him Bob is. Then I'm going to swap out we call him Bob and he who shall not be named. Then I'm going to further take out Merrick because he's exhausted. And I'm going to bring on Bostock. And I feel like something in me says that this game needs a little Andy Rooney. No, it doesn't. Who am I kidding? It needs Leroy Williamson. Wasn't that a fantastic save? Remember that time that we were up 2-1, and in order to preserve the victory, we needed a penalty save from Green Eggs and Fotheringham, and he and his beautiful pecs were like, no big whoop. I got it. Beautiful. Also, we call him Bob is so handsome. I mean, look at that jawline. I mean, Anyway. So he takes the test, And then he's walking out of Blockbuster, and the manager runs out from behind the counter and is like, "Who took the test?" And Evan was like, "Me." And the guy was like, "I have never seen a test result that good in all my years working at Blockbuster." And Levin was like, "All right." And the guy was like, "When can you start?" And Levin was like, "Now?" And that's how he got a job. But the funniest thing about it is that afterward, I was like, "Lev, what was on the test that was so incredibly complicated and difficult?" And he was like, "Honestly, every single question was a version of, in this situation, would you steal?" And he was like, and I knew to say no. So no matter how many different ways they would be like, "But would you steal in this situation?" I would just be like, no, I wouldn't. And so, yes, it is useful, I guess, to know how to take a test in the world, but it is not the most useful skill that you will ever have. And I worry that overemphasis on grades means an overemphasis on tests instead of emphasizing that learning is joyful and that it's fun and that it allows you to be a more engaged and productive citizen of the universe, which in the end is a lot more meaningful than whether you got a B or a C in physics. You don't. Physics isn't worth learning for a grade. It's worth learning because it gives you a broader and deeper relationship with the world around you on a minute-by-minute basis. And that's way, way cooler than getting into your dream college. And so that's one of the things that we've tried to do with Crash Course. We've tried with Crash Course to create something that, people, oh God. Oh, green eggs and Foderingham. We've tried to create something that people will want to learn with, a learning tool that's about choice, not ultimately about being forced or this being good for you or whatever. That there are lots and lots and lots of students who want to learn, who will seek out opportunities to learn, and who take it very seriously. And so that's the kind of audience that we have with Crash Course, and I'm so, that's something I'm so, so proud of and so grateful for. Are you going to have your 7th consecutive corner kick? All right. This is fun. Let's just play corners for the rest of the game. Oh, no! Everything's fine. You know what's the best color of eggs? Green! Come here. Come get some. Oh, Wesley Crusher Foderingham. Playing like the boss he is. Are we going to win this game with 10 men? Are we going to win this game? If I'm, I don't even know who our opponent is. If I'm Scunthorpe, oh, green eggs and Foderingham. Everything's fine. You guys are freaking out about nothing. If I'm Scunthorpe, I'm just humiliated at this point. I had a penalty saved. Oh, I've got Leroy Williamson forcing the ball back and back and back. Then I think, yes. Let's just sort of whip it in and see what happens, McShane. Oh, I got knocked over in the penalty box. For the love of God, how is that not a foul? No, that's legal. That's not only legal, it's charming. I need everybody back. I need McShane! Yes! In summary, worry more about learning than grades. Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers, victorious! Victorious. Sorry about the red card, Fitzhall, but congratulations to Wesley Crusher Foderingham. We rightly congregate around him because he is the man of our match. Thanks for watching. Best wishes. Did you see the little tickle rub that he just gave Leroy Williamson?